Hey everybody, this is Mr. Burrell, and this is the video for the week of May 4th through May 8th, NTI work. So, I know that I've said this the last couple of weeks and I haven't really uh, held true with it, but I promise you that this week's video is going to be short and sweet, primarily because the focus of this week's work is really direct and straight to the point, and also because a lot of the actual learning tied to it is kind of connected to other videos and other posts that I've made in weeks prior. So I'm going to get right into it. The focus for this week is the introduction to the multi-genre project, and the piece, the actual like product that I want you to come up with is the Dear Reader letter. So we are moving away from the universal idea of the week and then doing like some element practice, and we're actually moving into the real deal, the final project of the year, if you will, the multi-genre project. And we're going to take it piece by piece, just like I talked about at the beginning of NTI. Uh, if you all will remember, the multi-genre project was actually the first video that I posted for you all, and I talked about it at length in that video, about 16 minutes worth, and I also showed you all an example for it. So I'm not going to go into a lot of detail here about what the project's about. If you need that information, you can go to that video. I'll bump that video back up to the top of the stream. I'll also bump back to the stream like kind of the description of the multi-genre project, which is in a Google Doc right here. I have it displaying on the screen. That kind of talks about the different parts, what the project's about, kind of what the focus is, and also gives you a very lengthy list of different elements that you can choose for the project. Some of which are the ones that we've practiced in the last couple of weeks. And I'll also have my example, which I'm displaying now, bumped back up so that you all can like look at a clear-cut multi-genre project example that's completed from start to finish, so you have something to refer back to as I talk about these different pieces. More on all that in just a second, but before that, I'm going to actually go through the to-do list. So back to the slides. For this week, I need you to create a theme statement for your project. Type up your Dear Reader letter. And these Dear Reader letters, they're not going to be 100% complete because you're probably not going to know what your three elements are for your project just yet. I'm going to want you to brainstorm that. And if you have an idea, I want you to put it in the letter. But if you don't know yet, leave that part out for now. And then we'll come back to that once you've come up with the elements and you have more of an idea. So these letters are really just like drafts, kind of placeholder foundational pieces. And then that letter needs to be uploaded to Google Classroom by this Friday, 11:59 p.m. Many of you are perfectly fine on that. A couple of you could be better, but as long as you're getting stuff turned into me, let's not sweat it. The big thing with the Dear Reader letter is that it needs to be evident what your theme statement is. Like, I need to be able to tell by reading this draft of the letter what your theme statement is. It needs to be stated in no uncertain terms. And I'll kind of show you what that looks like again in my example. I kind of went over that in the initial multi-genre project video, but I'll show you that briefly again. So let's talk about just like what I mean with like creating a theme statement for the project, and then I'll show you my example again. Multi-genre projects aren't just random collections of writing or images. They are different pieces, different elements, just like the elements we've been doing, newscasts, Dear Abby letters, reviews, even pictures, because they don't always have to be text-based elements. Different elements, different genre pieces brought together that all have a theme, or at the very, very least, a topic that they all center around and they all reflect. And usually they reflect different facets of it. It's not just like they're all saying the same thing about that theme, or they're all saying the same thing about that topic. They're kind of giving different looks about it. So your first task is to create a theme statement that resonates with you. Just think of a theme statement, just something that's true in your life. For example, my multi-genre project, which centered around gaming, and I'll go right into my Dear Reader letter. My theme statement was, gaming is more than just the act of playing a game. It's what you get from the experience. So that was my theme statement. And in order to show that off, I ultimately explored the different aspects of gaming, like the recreational side of it, you mean the actual having fun of it, but also the competitive side and the side of it that establishes connections between me and the people close to me, that sort of thing. So that was my theme statement, and then I just kind of hinted to you all like how my different elements all show different facets of that. So your theme statement should be something true to you, something that makes sense to you, reflects a topic or centers around a topic that matters to you, and something that you can write pieces or create pieces around that it won't bore you, or that like you actually will have like a connection with, and that it'll have relevance to you. So maybe start with a topic that interests you, or is meaningful to you, and then try to create a theme statement out of that. If you need some help with that, because it's been a while since we talked about theme, in these slides we have the theme statement stems, the blank leads to blank, or blank is more than blank, it is blank, which is exactly the flow that my theme statement took. I'll go here into the slide because I typed it out here. Gaming is more than just the act of playing a game. It's what you get from the experience. Blank is more than blank. It is blank. Like, I pretty much just took that structure and applied that to my topic. So I put the statement stems in here for you all to use if you need them. I gave you some universal ideas or themes that you can choose from. And then I also linked to our 100 universal ideas sheet that we've been using since the beginning of the year. You should be able to click this link from the NTI lesson Google Slides that I'm working out of right now, and it should pull up this image just like this. And then, it's going to start out small, but if you scroll, you should be able to see all the words in the list pretty clearly. Please let me know if you all do not have access to the image. Like if it tells you that you need to request access from me, don't just request access. Email me and tell me that you all don't have access, because if one of you doesn't, odds are that all of you don't, and I need to figure out how to address that in a uniform way. So, first task, come up with your theme statement. The theme statement that your project will be built around. Next thing that you need to do after that is start working on a Dear Reader letter. So you're going to create a Google document. You're going to label it Dear Reader, meaning title it Dear Reader. And then you're going to start writing a thought out letter explaining to the reader the universal idea or universal ideas, and I'll add that because it might be plural. You might want to work with more than one. The universal ideas that you're working with, the theme statement that you're working with, and what they can expect to see out of your project. So, and I'm going to make this a little bit clearer because I don't want it just to be, I want it to be a theme statement that you're working with. In years past, we just did a universal idea, but I want this to actually be a straight up theme statement. I want you to discuss why the theme statement appeals to you, why you have a connection to it, and why the audience will benefit from reading your project. So there's an example here that you can click here that'll kind of give you an idea of a Dear Reader letter. You also have my multi-genre project example that will show you how you can structure a Dear Reader letter. So you can just very easily go to my multi-genre project example and just look at how I did my Dear Reader letter and try to model yours after mine. You know, how you talk about your theme statement, why you had that connection to the theme statement, etc. And then maybe just leave out the discussion of the pieces. Like the specific discussion of the pieces, because you probably don't know what your pieces, what your elements are going to be just yet. So once you have that, once you know what your theme statement for your project is going to be, and once you have a basic layout typed out for your Dear Reader letter where you tell the reader what your theme statement is, like that your project is built around, what it centers around, why you chose that theme statement or why that theme statement is important to you, and what they could can expect to see, like kind of give them a preview of what your multi-genre project is going to be, maybe minus what the elements in it are going to be. If you haven't thought out that far yet, that's what you're turning into me. That letter with a very clear theme statement in it. So just to go back to my example, it can look something like this. Dear reader, thank you for taking the time to read through the pieces of my multi-genre project. In creating these pieces, I wanted to discuss a topic that is near and dear to my heart, gaming. Beyond doing a simple informational rundown on what gaming is, the history of it, etc., I wanted to do something that had a lot more of a personal impact on me. So I wanted to talk about what gaming has meant to me. So my theme is that gaming is more than just the act of playing a game. It's what you get from the experience. I explored 3 different aspects of gaming: the recreational side of it, the competitive side, and the connection side. I included a personal narrative, an infographic, and a playing card image. 2 of my 3 pieces include visual components to reflect and undergird the medium. The actual structure of my project takes the form of an instruction booklet, both to match my theme and to match my intent on instructing you in what gaming means to me, which will possibly broaden your own outlook on it. Again, thank you for taking the time to review my work. I hope you enjoy. And then I have my name at the bottom, like a real letter, Joseph Burrell. So that's the I threw this together really quickly, admittedly, hence a little bit of like run-on sentences and stuff like that. But that's the basic essence of it. I told you like what the aim of the project was for me, what my theme statement was, and what could be expected out of it. You are going to see 3 different aspects of gaming as far as what gaming means to me. And then I even told you like what the pieces were going to be and why I structured my project the way I did, why I made it like kind of look like an instruction booklet, that kind of thing. You can think out some of the more creative outside the box stuff later. That's kind of like final pieces sort of thing. So think about how you want to structure your letter. But before that, and it's the most important thing you need to come up with, you need to come up with your theme statement for your project. If you all have any questions about that, please contact me. Please let me know. But you're all going to do fine. Don't sweat this too much. This is going to be the hardest part, coming up with some of the stuff. Once you have that idea for a theme statement, coming up with the actual elements and stuff will become a lot easier. All right, guys. Good luck this week. Let me know if you have any questions or concerns. All right. See ya.